Hello, friends. Good morning. Welcome back to the Say What podcast. I am so happy to be chatting with you today. Whether it's Wednesday morning for you, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it is, hello and welcome back to the podcast. Wow, that was a lot of energy for early in the morning. So sorry about that. I've just started recording in the mornings and I just feel like a brand new person recording podcasts in the mornings. Like, I'm happier, I have more energy, I am more excited to talk with you, and morning time is just it for me. I don't know what time of day you guys like the best, but I think that the mornings are my favorite because I'm the kind of person that I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm so excited to drink my coffee today. Like, I cannot wait to make my eggs, make my sourdough toast that I bought from the store. Let's make that very clear. I'm not a trad wife. Love the trad wife, but I'm not making bread. I sometimes guys, you don't know how delusional I am. I watch Nara Smith videos on TikTok and think, I can make that. I can't even make chicken without it being too chewy because I cooked it too long because I was afraid that it wasn't going to be cooked long enough. I can't even cut a vegetable without cutting myself. Like, who am I to think that, like, oh, that meal, I can make that from scratch. Oh, cheese, can make that from scratch. Bread, can make that from scratch. I can make cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, make it from scratch. I'm so delusional, and I'll watch his videos, and I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Easy, no problem. Like, who do I think I am? I don't even know, but I do really look forward to eating eggs and sourdough toast in the morning. I really need to add like one more thing. I probably should add like a fruit or something to my breakfast, but I wake up so excited to eat. And today I'm feeling so happy because my child slept through the night, and all the moms out there know how big of a deal that is. Sleep deprivation plays such a role in your life and your mental health, and I will talk about that later on, but man, I feel so good. I also need to address that I'm wearing glasses. I've got some new glasses on. I basically have just needed a new pair of glasses forever because the ones that I have are terrible and years old and all kinds of scratched up. But I just hadn't bought any and finally was like, I'm buying some new glasses. So I went to the Warby Parker that is in our mall and tried on a bunch of glasses to see which like shape I wanted. I knew I wanted really big ones, but I wasn't sure how they'd look on me. So I went to Warby Parker, tried them on, and then went and ordered them on iBuyDirect, which I love iBuyDirect. I've been buying glasses from iBuyDirect for years. And, iBuyDirect, let's talk. Let's chat. I would love to get my listeners, my friends, a discount. That's mostly what I like to do, ads, get you guys discounts. But I love iBuyDirect, and I found my glasses from there. So these were out of stock. This was like the last pair. So if you want the link, maybe they'll be back in stock. Just send me a message on Instagram, and I'll send it to you. But I feel so much better, especially because in the South, there is so much pollen, and I have to wear glasses because the pollen does not do well with contacts. Like, I'm constantly like, well, I'm not rubbing my eyes because you're not supposed to rub your eyes, but I'm just like, oh, my eyes hurt so bad. I need these glasses because it's rough out here in these streets, to be frank with you, with the pollen. So glasses it is. One thing I wanted to ask you guys before we get into the life updates and the episode is if you could just please leave me a review if you think that this podcast is good, if this podcast has helped you in any way at all. If you could leave a 5-star review and write a podcast review, that would be super helpful. I'll stop being annoying and asking you guys once I get like a good amount of new reviews, because since I relaunched, a lot of my reviews are old. So if you could just please, it would mean the world to me. Just leave a review, even if it's just like, love this podcast, this was so helpful, love hanging out with Hannah, like just something super short would be really helpful. It takes 2 seconds, and I would love you forever. Thank you. Okay, I need you guys' help. Actually, I should have checked this before I recorded. Let me check as I'm talking about this. But I was looking at my Amazon Associates the other day, and like I was doing like, this amount of time. The number there was $6.66. So I need you guys to go and buy something on my Amazon because I cannot have $6.66 be my number. Like, that is Satan's number, and I don't actually know what the history with that is. I probably should know that. But I need it to change. I need it to change immediately because I cannot. Let's see. Oh, it's not telling me on my. Wait, here we go. It's not telling me on my phone. Okay, this is annoying. Okay, I'm not doing it right now. It's better on my computer. But I need you guys to go and go buy something on my Amazon so that way I don't have that number anymore. And all you have to do is click, I'll link in the episode notes. You don't even have to like buy something on my storefront. If you just click on my link and then go buy something like separately, but you're still from where you clicked on my link, I get that like 2 cents. Amazon literally makes me no money, but it's literally like 2 cents, which I'm grateful for. I'm not complaining at all. Thank you guys for your support. But I need that to change because I cannot be having 666 in anywhere in my life, especially there. So thank you. I'll leave in the episode notes. Just go, whatever you shop on Amazon, if you shop my link, that is a big way to support the podcast. So thank you so much for that. Okay, I wanted to also start adding like a little segment in every week and share one thing that I've been loving. Because here's the thing, I do not buy things very often. Like number one, don't have the money to buy things very often. Number two, I don't like to over consume in life. Like I don't feel like I need 15 Stanley Cups. Like I don't need to buy something on Amazon every day. I don't need to like every season get like a million new clothes. Like I'm going to get a piece here and there, but like I don't shop a ton. Like that's just not who I am. I do like to shop and buy new things, but we just simply cannot afford it. And so when I buy something, it's like serious, and if I buy something and it's good and I like it, like that's a good thing because I don't buy things very often. So I'm wanting to be sharing things with you that I love, just to help like share the things that I love, because I love to share things. Now, this is something that I have not personally purchased yet, but I will as soon as I run out of my pack. But Mixers sent me some of their greens. They sent me their greens, their hydration packet, and their Her Pleasure. And Her Pleasure actually is a libido support drink, which I am going to start drinking regularly, and I'll let you guys know if it does help your libido. I couldn't drink it for a while because my frother broke. And so just trying to mix it together just wasn't doing good of a job. And I like using a frother. But I have really been loving my greens. And so like for real, you guys see the ads all the time that influencers do for greens. And I was like, that's such a scam. Like they're just like getting their bag, which whatever. But Mixer sent me some. I started using them, and I really do feel a difference in my like body and my energy level specifically. Like I feel like I have so much energy when I'm actually getting in the daily greens that I need. And it makes such a big difference. And I'm not just like telling you guys this just to like tell you, like it really does help. It really does help. And so I like the pink grapefruit. That's my favorite greens. And for Her Pleasure, I really liked the strawberries and cream flavor. I do not like the passion fruit flavor, like at all. Like I could not drink it. So I highly recommend the strawberries and cream flavor. But it's really good. So the libido support drink, it says it's a daily drink. So I'm really getting in on my like daily drink vibes. So I'm drinking the greens, I'm drinking the Her Pleasure, and I'm drinking water because I can't really drink soda anymore, you guys. It's giving me heartburn, and I'm just not a fan of that at all. I don't really know what's happening. Don't know why it's there. I'm not pregnant. Don't really know. But I love it. I love it. And Mixer is like the cutest company. Like they're just so fun, and it's like so girly, and it just like makes me really happy. So I'm a big fan of them. And if you are interested, you can use my code for a discount, which is great. We love saving money, and I'll link that in the episode notes. Okay, let's talk about postpartum rage and Zoloft. This is honestly like very kind of scary for me to talk about. I don't talk about things until I feel like I'm fully ready to talk about them, because that's just like boundary I have. I want to be on a I don't know. Sometimes I tell you guys like real time what I'm going through, but as far as like the real nitty gritty details, I don't really want to share until I feel like I'm past a little bit of it. I just don't need to process things with the internet all the time. But I do feel like it's important for me to share some of my experience with postpartum rage and being on an antidepressant, because an SSRI, because I never really thought that I would be on an SSRI. I never thought that I'd be taking anxiety medicine. I've kind of been fine. Like over the years, throughout many years of therapy that I've gone to, I have figured out like how to manage my anxiety. I've figured out how to manage what's going on in my body. I have figured out like I have tools that I use like when I'm feeling anxious and how to process things. And I know how to like work with my mind on stuff. Like I feel like I have really gotten to a good point of like how to manage anxiety. I don't deal with daily anxiety anymore. But after this is all pre-Tate. I like felt all those things for pre-Tate. So when I got pregnant, I experienced a lot of depression in my pregnancy. And I really I couldn't really verbalize it. I didn't really understand why I was feeling that way. I thought I was just like sick, and that's why I was feeling sick. But like I really started experiencing depression with my hormone levels changing. Like I didn't go on any medicine. I didn't really do anything about it. I just felt awful. Like pregnancy was the worst experience for me, and I felt awful. But then that was kind of the first real like experience I've had with any kind of depression like that. Like I've definitely have gone through like hard times before, but that was the first time that I was like, I can't get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to lay here and never move. Like I just don't feel like myself. But I didn't really do anything about it. And then after Tate was born, I felt better. I was like, I don't feel this way anymore. Like I feel so much better. Like I feel like Tate has just naturally come into our lives. I feel like, having him has just been like the next step for us. And I really feel okay. Like he just came into our life perfectly. He, assimilated in and we figured out our flow and I'm feeling good. Like I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. And I would tell you that, like I told you guys, I remember telling you, like, I'm feeling really good. Like I haven't experienced the baby blues. I haven't experienced postpartum depression. I haven't experienced postpartum anxiety. I had some anxiety here and there, but like it really wasn't bad. I was like, I feel fine. And I really genuinely feel that way. Like I wasn't lying to you. Like I felt fine. Looking back, there was definitely like the beginning stages of postpartum rage that I didn't really know that I was experiencing. And like I couldn't have put a name on it at that point. But I really felt okay. I was like, I feel good. This is doing well. We had family in Colorado for about a month, like just different family people coming in. And I was like, okay, like I'm feeling pretty good. So I, was feeling good. And then about a month, maybe I can't remember the timeline. I asked Thomas this morning. I was like, this is not a trick question. Because I always thinks I'm trying to like trick him and whatever. This is not a trick question. Like, when did my rage start? And he's like, well, if you're not going to say immediately, then I don't know when to tell you. I was like, okay. So I guess I don't like remember it starting immediately, but I guess it did. But what started happening over the months and months of Tate being here was that I would catch myself getting really mad really fast. It's like a switch would happen and like Thomas would do something it really started with Thomas falling asleep, which is ridiculous. Like I cannot believe I'd get so mad at him falling asleep. Like he would fall asleep at times where he should be falling asleep and I would be mad that he was falling asleep. Like I just can't even handle it. I can't even understand that girl. And then I would get mad at times that things like he would do something. I mean, we're not young parents. I'm a teen mom. We're parents who are first time parents trying to figure things out. Like we're gonna each do things that are not right. And there'd be a time where he would be on the floor with me or be on the floor waiting for me to give Tate to him and he'd fall asleep, which is fine. We're so tired. But at that point, I'm like, okay, I need you to wake up. Like I need to give you Tate so you can go lay him down in his crib. And he wouldn't wake up in time. It's like a switch would happen. I would feel it in my bones. I would feel it in my body. And I was like, I'm so mad. And I want to tell him how mad I am at him. I want to tell him like, I'm just so angry and I want to like punch a wall. And I was like, what? I'd be like, that's the only thing that make me feel better is I can just like I need this anger to physically get out. Like I'm so mad. And it was never like the anger was directed necessarily, like the anger I was feeling and like what I wanted to do with the anger was never directed at a person. Like he would do something that would frustrate me, or my dog, which I'll talk about in a second, would do something that would frustrate me. But it wasn't like I wanted to hurt him or hurt Thomas. It was like I just need to like get this anger out of me and go somewhere. And I was like, what is that? Like, I've never experienced that before. Like, I was just like, I need this anger to go. Like, I can't have it in my body anymore, and I'm so mad. But it would happen so fast. And I've never experienced anything like that before. Like, there was a time when I had first started therapy after a lot of stuff happened at the church that I worked at before, where I experienced a lot of, like, what my therapist would call righteous anger. Like, things happened that were really bad and I had every right to be angry about it and I'd be mad about it. But it wasn't like this. Like it wasn't like I would just switch in a second and just be so angry and so mad. And I was just like, I just kept telling myself, it's my hormones. It's my hormones. I just like gave birth to a child. My body is like trying to figure it out. I'm breastfeeding, so that like adds an extra layer of hormones. And like, my body's just trying to figure it out and it's going to be fine. Like it'll work itself out. I kept telling myself that. I kept telling myself it's just going to work itself out. But I'd get so mad. I'd get so mad at that, and I'd get so mad at my dog. Now, my dog is you guys know I love Theo. Like, I love my dog so much. Even after he's broken my leg, I love him so much, which is so I don't even know if ironic is the word that he caused me so much anger. I went to therapy because of him, and then he broke my leg. That's really crazy. But I would start getting so mad at my dog, which he was just being a dog. Like, there was a huge life change for him. He didn't get as much attention. So, of course, he's going to like start like, quote, acting out. I mean, he's really acting out just because he wasn't getting as much attention, which is fine, which is normal. We should have been giving him more attention. We did live in Colorado. We had a baby in the dead of winter, which Colorado, there's so much snow all the time. We lived on the second floor apartment. Like, Theo couldn't just go out and run around and play for hours like he used to before because there was snow on the ground and it'd be too cold for him to go outside. So it was just like a perfect storm for him. And he would bark, and that was something we've been struggling with for a while, especially is his barking. And he would bark, and he wouldn't even wake Tate up, but he would bark, and it would just send me into another dimension. Like, I was just, I couldn't handle it. He would bark, and he'd send me to another dimension, and I would just spiral, and I would get so mad. And I was like, I can't handle this. Like, this is really bad. And then I kept telling myself, like, it's going to be fine. I'm going to figure this out. My body will work it out. So then I would just like have like over time, it wasn't all the time. And it was never directed toward Tate. And again, it was never like directed toward Thomas or directed towards Theo. I would just be like angry and just needed to get it out of my system. And because I never like wanted to hurt anybody. Like, it wasn't even like that. But I was also scared to talk about this because I was so scared of how it would be viewed from other people. Like, I was scared that they would think that I was going to like hurt somebody or hurt myself so I was just like, I can't talk about this. And I was really scared to even tell a therapist. I remember even telling Caroline, like, I don't even want to tell a therapist this because I don't want them to think it's something it's not, because like I know myself and I know what I'm capable of. And I'm not, this is not, I'm just freaking out, and I would never, ever, ever hurt Tate. I've never felt angry towards Tate. I just feel angry really fast and don't know what to do about it. And so I would just, it was never towards anybody. It was just like anger. And I was just like, okay, and I've heard people talk about postpartum rage, but like not very often. And I didn't really know if it was normal. And again, I kept saying, it's going to work itself out. It's going to work itself out. So first few months of Tate's life is how I'm feeling. Tate was waking up every now and then at night, but it wasn't like he was waking up every hour. Like, he really slept fine for the first like 7 months of his life. Then July hits, and the week that we move from Colorado to North Carolina, like a switch happened in him, and he didn't sleep for months. He didn't sleep. Like, months and months. He just never slept. He never slept. What changed? Let's see. I can remember. I actually know he didn't sleep from July until November, end of November, because or end of November, early December, because he finally started sleeping better the week that I broke my leg. And that was just from the trauma from him not being with his mom, which is really sad to think about. But so he didn't sleep for months, and I'm talking like he was up every hour. Like, I'm not exaggerating. He was up every hour. I was nursing around the clock. He was up every hour. I'm not interested in sleep training. I mean, if my child needs me in the middle of the night, like, I'm going to go see him. Like, I'm not going to let him cry it out. I don't think that's okay. There are studies now that like have talked about the effects of sleep training. And I don't say that to shame, because moms are truly doing the best they can. But if you don't know, you don't know. And so I'm not for sleep training. I don't think it's okay. And I just wasn't going to do that with him. And so I was just feeling so awful, like, because I wasn't sleeping. And I was just like, I'm not okay. I mean, I did not realize how much the sleep deprivation was affecting me until like now here I'm on the other side of it. But I mean, it was every hour he was waking up, if not every 2 hours. Like, there was never a stint longer than 2 hours. And so it was worse, way worse than the newborn stage. Like, it was just constant sleep deprivation for months. I was not okay. And I felt the like postpartum rage so strong during that time. I was just like, I'm literally about to cry talking about this, but I can't cry because I'm on Zoloft, which is what we're talking about. It's so weird. I like feel like the emotion, like, oh, I'm about to cry, but then like no tears actually come out. It's very strange. But I just was like, I I'm not okay. Like I'm not sleeping. The anger is coming out. I'm feeling like the bouts of anger again. I'm feeling the rage is so intense. And I just started feeling like kind of numb. I was just like, I'm so tired. I can't function. Like I can't do anything. Like I can't even imagine can't even hang out with my friends because I'm just so tired. Like I couldn't do anything. And I was like, I know this isn't forever. I just got to sit through it. I know this isn't forever. He's going to sleep. Like it's not going to be this way forever. So I kept telling myself that. And then I remember one day I was sitting on the toilet and I was just like, so mad at Theo. I think he had just barked or something. And I was so mad at him. And I just started sobbing. And I was like, the anger came over me really fast. And I started sobbing. And I was like Googling postpartum rage for the first time. And I was looking it up. And I was like, okay, like I definitely have postpartum rage, like full on. And what I learned during that time was that postpartum rage fell under the postpartum depression category. And I was like, okay, because it's not like a specific diagnosis or anything. It's just like something people experience. And so I saw that it fell under the postpartum depression like umbrella. And I was like, okay. And I remember telling Thomas, I was like, I need to go to therapy. I get so mad at our dog. And at this point, it had been really bad with Theo. I mean, obviously, he had just moved and went through a lot too. And so I was like, I'm getting really mad at Theo and I don't like that. And I need to go to therapy to figure this out because either like we were in serious talks about like what to do about our dog. And I felt awful, felt so awful. We did send him with my parents. So my parents took him for, I don't know how long it was, maybe 2-3 weeks. Because I was like, after going to therapy, I was like, I have to have a break from our dog. Like, I can't do it. I'm not okay. And so I called my parents one day sobbing and I was like, can you guys take Theo? Like, I'm so sorry. I hate that we're doing this. Like, I feel awful, but I need a break from him. And my dad was like, don't you say sorry. We're coming up this weekend. We'll take him. So they took him and that was a big help. But I still was just like, I don't feel okay. I don't feel something's wrong. And so I was like, I need to get my hormone levels checked. So I make an appointment with a new OB that I had found. One of you guys recommended this office, which was so great. And so I went to this office and I was like, okay, I'm going to meet with this doctor. And I was talking with her about everything that was going on. And she was asking me she was fantastic. I really like her. She was asking me a million questions. And I was like, what is like, there's so many questions here that I just never thought about. And she was just asking me. And then she finished and she was like, have you considered getting on any kind of medication? And honestly, I was like, no. Like, I don't know why. Like, my husband has been on anxiety medicine for, like, years at this point. So I don't know why. I just, like, never considered it. But I was like, no. Like, I don't know why. And so she was just talking to me. She was like, so right now, you're sleep deprived, which is playing a huge role in your rage and in your anxiety. Because I was starting to get a lot of anxiety again. And it's playing a role in your anxiety and your depression. And she was like, so you're sleep deprived. She was like, and you're going to therapy, which is great. She's like, that's something I really want you to continue doing. She was like, but right now your mood is all over the place. Like you're up, down, you're up, down, you're up, down, mood all over the place. And what this medicine is going to do is just going to help stabilize that mood. So instead of going up, down, down, it's just going to help your mind calm down and just feel a sense of like ease, like not up, down, up, down, up, down. And I was just like, okay, if that's what you think. But I was so scared because I have such a, like strong like side effects like usually affect me really bad. And so I was like really scared to be on it because I was like side effects really, really affect me. But I was just like, okay, this is what I need to do. Like I feel really at peace about this. I think I'm going to take it. So we decided to get on Zoloft. And she started me on 50 milligrams. Also, I got my levels checked during that time and my hormone levels are fine. Like there was nothing of note there, which I kept telling myself, like, it's just my hormones. And like, once they're leveled out, I'm not going to feel this way anymore, which is so not true. But it's what I was telling myself because I just didn't want to admit that I like possibly had postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, but I did. And it's okay to admit, and it's not that way forever. And yeah, but anyways, so I started taking Zoloft. This is what I wanted to talk about my experience on Zoloft. So I started taking 50 milligrams of Zoloft. Week 1, awful. Before I started taking the medicine, wasn't having daily anxiety. I was like anxious here and there. And one of the big things that like was a she had said that really showed her that I really was dealing with some postpartum anxiety that would have helped me is that nap times I was not okay. Like Tate would fall asleep for his nap and I would just become debilitated. It was like because I need to work, I need to shower, I need to eat, I need to get myself ready, I need to do the dishes, I need to do my do something on Instagram for say what. Like I was just not okay. And I would literally sit on the couch just like, what am I supposed to do? Like I have all these things to do and I have no idea how long Tate's nap's going to be because his naps are up and down. I have no idea like what is most important to this time because I really need to get my hours for work, but I also the house is a disaster and I know that I thrive better in a clean home. My husband thrives better in a clean home. It's like I need to clean our house for him, but I'm so stressed out and I haven't showered in days and I smell terrible and I would feel so much better if I could just like change out of these clothes that I've been in for days. But I also really would love to take a nap. Like I'm so tired. And I would just become debilitated during his nap times. And I was like, I can't make a decision. I don't know what to do. And then I'd spend the whole hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours spiraling because I didn't know what to do. And then he'd be awake and I wasted 2 hours. And she was like, that's a big sign that you have postpartum anxiety. Like something is wrong. Like it's common for moms to have a little bit of like what should I do during nap time, but it was debilitating me and I did not realize that until she was asking me all these questions, which is what doctors are for. She did what she was supposed to do, which is great, and I just didn't recognize that was an issue until she was asking me all these questions in our appointment. And so so I didn't have what I was saying, I didn't have day anxiety, but I'd have anxieties like little bouts of anxiety like that. But when I was on Zoloft for the first week, what I started doing was taking it in the morning, and I was taking the 50 milligram pill in the morning, and I felt awful. I was so panicky. I just felt like my chest was going to explode. I was just like so like just like literally breathing like that, like panicky feelings. And my brain couldn't connect with my mouth. I felt super foggy. I was super drowsy. I just felt truly awful. I was like, I can't do this. I can't be on this medicine. But I know, number one, I have a psychology degree. I was like, I know that this medicine, it takes a while for your body to adjust to the medication and for you to see the how it works for you. I was like, I know that there is a learning curve here for your body to get used to it, and so it's just going to be hard for a while. And I was like, do I push through? Do I not? What do I do? So it was a week of awful. I mean, God, I was miserable. And then so I called my doctor, and they're like, okay, why don't you start taking it at night? And so then I started taking it at night. And I felt a little bit better, but I still had a lot of really panicky feelings. I started having really panicky feelings, and I wasn't really foggy anymore because their hope was that if I take it at night, I'll be asleep for the side effects. So by the time I wake up, those heavy side effects will be gone. But I still felt super panicky. I was just like, this is not okay. And so I started taking it. And so I think that was like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks of me taking it at night. And then it just did not get better. I felt so panicky and so not myself. And I just was like, this is miserable. And then the next week, or when I think it was either a week or two after, I called my doctor again. She's like, let's take you down to 25 milligrams and still take it at night. So, and at that point, she was like, I want you to come in. Let's talk and see what we can do. So I came back in. And she was like, let's talk about switching to a different med. She's like, I know that you're supposed to wait like 5 to 6 weeks to see if there's any change, but like if you want to change, that's okay. Like we're going to do what you feel like is best for your body. And so I was like, I do think I want to change medicines. And she was like, so let's go down to 25 milligrams and like kind of wean you off this and then start you on another one. She's like, you don't have to do that, but if you want to do that, we can. And I was like, yes, I'd rather wean off and start another one than just like cold turkey switch to a new med. So she had called me in Lexapro. So we were going to take Lexapro. And so I started taking the 25 milligrams and I started taking it at night, 25 milligrams. And it was like, I think it was maybe week 4 or 5. I can't remember. It's all kind of a blur because Tate was still not sleeping. It was like week 4 or 5 and it was like brand new. It was like the fog had been lifted. There was daylight again. I was smiling. I didn't have the super intense rage feelings. I was actually happy. I wasn't like having super up and down mood swings. It was just like, I'm a new person and I'm myself. And this is what I needed. this is what she was talking about. And also during which, well, I'll talk about that in a second. Never mind. I felt like a new person. I felt like a new person. I wasn't panicky. Those feelings were gone. I have not experienced any panicky feelings since that like second week that I was on Zoloft. Like I all of that was gone. I felt so much better. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm a new person. This is great. I love it. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for giving humans the ability to create medicine like this. Like, I cannot believe that, like, we live in modern times where, like, medicine exists and, like, you have given our brains the ability to figure this out. Like, that is so crazy. And thank you, Lord. Like, I was so happy. I could see the light. I could see the light. So, I just could see the light and it was so much better. And then um it was either after I broke my leg. I think it was after I broke my leg. Yeah, it was after I broke my leg. I think we're in December now, maybe. Yeah, I think it's December-ish. I can't remember the time. I've been on it for a while. Also, going to therapy was really helpful too during that time. But I'm not going to therapy anymore, but it was really helpful. So I didn't have the mood swings anymore. And what she explained to me the Zoloft was going to do was just going to help stabilize my mood because I was up and down, up and down, up and down. And it was supposed to help stabilize my mood and help me not have just like those bouts of anger. And it really does. Like, I feel so much more stable now. I don't feel like I go up and down. I definitely have like times that I go up and down, but it's not as extreme as I did before. The side effects I'm experiencing are really crazy dreams. Now it's hard to, say that's definitely Zoloft because since I was like a child, like I have a very early vivid memory from when I was probably like 2 or 3, honestly, of having nightmares. So I've had nightmares my entire life. And like really crazy dreams my entire life. It's always something that I've experienced, like always had crazy, 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 crazy dreams. So the dreams being even more crazy on Zoloft, I feel like is a side effect of Zoloft, but it's not, it's something I've always experienced. So it's hard for me to say like it is a Zoloft, but they have been a lot crazier since I've been on Zoloft. And I cannot cry. I can't cry. I have cried twice since or I guess 3 times since I started Zoloft. The first time was when I was in the ambulance when I broke my leg and I was going to the hospital and I was in the most pain I've ever been in my entire life and I cried a little, but it wasn't even like I was just like a little bit of crying, just like tears down my face. I was singing a worship song like I don't even know what I was singing, but I was singing a worship song in the ambulance because I was just like so terrified and my leg hurt. Second time I cried was like not, but it wasn't even like tears coming up. I had tears welt in my eyes for like a second was when JC Marie Smith announced she was pregnant, which is so funny because like I've just been so excited for her to be pregnant and been following her forever. And anyways, that's like so silly, but I cried. And then third, the other day I cried, but it wasn't even like actual tears. It was just like a little bit of welt up in my eyes when I was just feeling really overwhelmed with everything going on in my life right now. Mostly just trying to work and be a mom. It's really freaking hard. And I haven't talked a ton about that because I'm really grateful for my job, but it's been extremely, extremely hard to work and take care of Tate at the same time. It feels impossible and I don't know how much longer I can do this. I mean, I can't quit my job, but we're going to have to get childcare. I don't even know. Anyways, so I've not been able to cry. Like I just physically cannot cry. And I have started feeling kind of numb. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I do feel better. I feel like myself. I feel, experiences of like happiness and sadness, but I don't experience like intense emotion, if that makes sense. Like Tate turned 1. Yay, I was happy, but I wasn't like sobbing that he's not my baby anymore. I wasn't like, feeling extreme feelings around that. I was just like, yep, now we're in this next stage of life and I'm really happy about it. And that's it. So I haven't felt like extreme feelings one way or the other. I don't know. I just haven't been feeling like, the way that I know that I can feel emotion. Like I haven't been feeling that because obviously I've experienced emotion before. And so I know what experiencing emotion is like. And so I've not experienced like intense feelings of like happiness or sadness. I've just kind of been like even with everything. And I am not really liking that, to be quite honest with you. I was really considering going off of Zoloft. But after talking to some like trusted people, they recommended that like during that, because I was thinking of going off like in the middle of my leg healing, and the people I talked to was like, you've gone through a really traumatic experience. Like, I really think the Zoloft is helping you during this time. Because like I've not cried about my accident, and it was a really intense accident. Like I broke my leg and my ankle. I broke 3 bones in my body, and it was from my dog, who I've been having such hard emotions with. Like, I I just like, you would think that would make me cry, like, but I just haven't had any strong emotions about it. And so have been considering going off. Another side effect is definitely like a low sex drive, for sure. Like, but it's hard to say again, because didn't have a super high sex drive before for the last like year of Tate's life. But I think a low sex drive is definitely a big part of it. Being on the Zoloft. But honestly, right now, like, or the past few months, like, I needed a healthy mind over anything else. Like, I needed to have a healthy mind so I could take care of myself, take care of my son, be the wife that I want to be. Like, I needed my mind to be at ease, because I was not my best self. I was not my best self around my child. And like, my child and my husband, like, I want to give them the best. And so I knew that this medicine was the best for me and the best for my family, because I just wasn't being the best person I could be. And it wasn't fair to them. And I wanted to be the best mom I could be for Tate. And I wanted to be the best person just for myself, but also for Tate, like, and for Thomas. Like, I really wanted to be the best I could for them. And the Zoloft definitely helped me with that. And these other side effects of not being able to cry and just kind of feeling kind of even, not really high, or low emotions, just kind of feeling even. And I was like, it's just worth it for that time. Not having a sex drive, it's fine. Like, it's really what I needed during that time. Now I'm still on it. My doctor told me that she would like me to be on it for 6 months. She's like, because what happens is people are on it for 3 months and they feel better and want to go off it. And then it's really deep dive, like, negatively. So she really wanted me to be on it for 6 months. So I think I'm going to still stay on it for a while. And, maybe because I really prayed and fasted in January about going off of it. And I just, like, that was when I was like, okay, that is not the time. Like, the Lord was like, this is not the time for you to go off. I did not have peace about it. And so I didn't go off it. And so whenever I decide to go off of it, I think I'll do it through a lot of prayer and fasting and see if I feel peace about it. But I just didn't. And the last thing I want to talk about with the Zoloft and the postpartum anxiety and depression is I don't think it's not as strong anymore, but there is this big, like, stigma about taking any kind of medication when you're a Christian, because they say, like, if you have anxiety, it's because you're not praying enough or you're not seeking the Lord enough, and the Lord can heal you and the Lord can heal your mind, and you're just not praying about enough. I mean, there is a literal scripture. It says, do not be anxious about anything, like, pray. And so I was just like, feeling, I'd never really told myself that, but I don't know if I just was like, I've always been a big believer in medicine's okay, but for some reason I was just like, I don't need it. And I never really considered it. But like, I just want to say, like, the Lord gave us our brains. The Lord has given us the ability to create this modern medicine, and I really believe it's a gift from Him. Like, He made it, and I don't feel like I'm any less of a Christian because I'm taking Zoloft. I don't feel like I'm any less of a believer. I don't think the Zoloft means that I don't trust the Lord enough. The Zoloft does not mean that I'm not, having the faith of the size of a mustard seed. Like, if anything, this has brought my relationship closer to the Lord, because I have been seeking the Lord. Like, please heal me. Please heal me of this rage. Please heal me of this anxiety. And He's like, here's this tool that I'm giving you. I've given you this tool of therapy. I've given you this tool of the Zoloft, and take it. And between that and your relationship with me, like, we will heal you. And I really believe it has. Like, I really believe it has. And I do not think that, leaning into this medication, leaning into therapy, makes me any less of a Christian. And because I'm doing it alongside of my relationship with the Lord. I'm not saying, like, goodbye, Lord, I just need medicine. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, like, I don't care. Like, I'm not talking to you, God. Like, I'm just leaning into science and therapy. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm doing them both together. And I feel like that's where the sweet spot is. I'm doing them together with the Lord. Like, it's Jesus and my Zoloft. Jesus and my Zoloft. That should be the title of this episode. But it really is, like, I can do this together. Like, me, Jesus, and Zoloft and therapy are doing this together. Now, I did get to a point where I felt like I was good with therapy. Like, I didn't really need it anymore. And I don't know that people should be in therapy forever. I do feel like it can be really helpful. It is really helpful. But, like, I got to a point where now I know how to process my rage. I know how to process my emotions, and I'm good. But like, I needed this medication right now. The Lord gave it to me. And so it's me, Jesus, and Zoloft. Like, we're just doing this together. And if anyone has ever made you feel ashamed that you are on medicine, I'm so sorry. Like, that is so not okay. There's no shame when doing what you need to do for your mental health. There's no shame at all. It's so important to be healthy mentally. And I'm so grateful that God gave humans the ability to figure this out. Like, truly, I believe this is like me, Jesus, and Zoloft. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. We'll see. I don't experience the rage anymore. I don't need to say that. I don't experience the rage as much anymore. There's definitely times where I feel the rage come through. But I know how to handle it. The Zoloft, I'm not joking. There's things I've gone through where I'm like, if it wasn't for the Zoloft, I would not be okay right now. Because I'm like, yep, this is the Zoloft keeping me sane, like keeping me okay. Because if not, I feel like I would have lost my mind over this. So I'm really thankful. I'll keep you guys updated, see how long I'm going to be on it for. I really thought that like my body would just figure itself out. And so if you're in this position, I really recommend talking to a doctor, going to therapy. If medication is the right step for you, taking that step. Because for me personally, it did not just figure itself out. It might figure itself out for you, and that would be fantastic, and that's great. But I just wanted to share that stuff today because I needed that extra step and that extra help, and I'm so thankful for it. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We can continue this conversation on Instagram. As always, feel free to DM me your experience. I asked you guys for your experiences from this with this stuff as well, and a lot of responses said the same thing, like this saved me, this saved me. Now, some people did say Zoloft was not right for them, and they had to find a new medication, and that is fantastic. And they found a new one, and that was helpful. I'm not going to be on this forever, but it's what I need to do right now. And that's all. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I need to do for right now. So I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We will talk soon.